Everybody, happy Sunday. I'm going to show you 3 fragrances for the people that want to stand out. Okay, these fragrances have a lot of character and personality. They're very bold and daring almost, you know what I mean? So these aren't scents that are going to please everybody and just be very inoffensive. It makes a statement. All of these make a statement. So the first one I'm going to share with you, and they're all unisex by the way, is Ombre Lu by Rania J. This is a thick, waxy, dense amber fragrance. And I know when you're hearing words like thick, dense, you're like, how does that correlate to smell? You know, and to me, this is almost like a candle. You know, when you smell a candle and it just has like, the aroma is like thicker than just like an air freshener or something that's just like light and breezy. Like, no, this is something that is just like a heavy scent. And it has that sweetness with the amber. But honestly, I remember when my sister and I first smelled this, and we were both like, damn, this smells like a sexy detective kind of smell, like you're in a trench coat and you're a man or woman on a mission and you're trying to get business done. You know what I mean? This is a fragrance that I would wear in the cold weather. And I haven't been talking about it that much because I haven't been reaching for it since it's been so hot here. But honestly, I did wear this during like the cloudy days when I was wearing a sweater. And it was just on another level. You know, you get this alluring, mysterious vibe with this fragrance that when you pass by, like when you're somebody that's smelling it on somebody else and they pass by, you're like, whoa, damn, there's what is that? It's very intriguing, you know what I mean? So this is a fragrance that it's just, it leaves you wanting more when you smell it in the air. You're like, hold on, let me get a little bit closer. Let me see what this is about, you know what I mean? So the name of this, I believe, translates to Amber Wolf. But shout out to Rania J for sending me this bottle. They sent it a few months ago. But my favorite was, I believe, Lavande 44 was solid. It's like a fresh lavender fragrance. I couldn't get enough of it. But this one right here, ladies and gentlemen, for the bold, for the mysterious, you know. So, Ombre Lu. Next is one I do talk about fairly often, but there's no way I can do this video without mentioning it. It's Resala by Arabian Oud. This thing just, it was pulling compliments for 2 days straight with 1.5 sprays. Not even on a pulse point, man. It was on a random part of my arm, just like the middle of my arm right here. And I just did like a full like spray. And it was pretty like, it was like pretty far away, right? It wasn't, well, I don't spray that close, but it was a full spray. Then I just did like a little spritz to see what it was about. And every single room that I was in, it filled it. When I walked into a room, I was getting complimented by someone on the other side of the room. They're like, man, that smells good. Like, it was just also, at least here in the States, it's a more unique kind of smell. You don't smell a lot of people wearing things like this. So it has that Middle Eastern twist. But man, this thing really, really shows out. If you're somebody that's worried about longevity, projection, scent trail, even with Ombre Lu, you don't have to worry about it, but that's definitely not as loud as Rasala right here. But this fragrance just carries, man. It smells like oud, saffron, and rose. Those are the 3 notes that stay throughout the whole entire wear time. But don't worry, the rose it's not a mature kind of rose. It intertwines really nicely with the spices of the saffron and then just that woody base. But then after a few hours, you get some sweetness with some vanilla. And then after like the 10th hour, at least on my skin, that's when the chocolate shows up. And I wish it showed up sooner, but I really don't mind. This thing, I could not get it off my arm. Even when I was like washing it, like it was still just penetrating my nostrils. You know what I mean? So definitely a fragrance for people that, first of all, can handle it. But if you're going to like a black tie event or you're going somewhere where you're trying to stand out, or like, because this is a fragrance, everybody, that you can't ignore it even if you tried. Even if you tried, it's going to have you by a chokehold. Like, this is a fragrance that really gets complimented a lot because people you can't ignore it. You can't, it's just super loud and you have to make a comment about it, whether it's positive or negative, you know, like this is one of the fragrances, probably out of all of the scents in my entire collection that has drawn a huge reaction, whether it's negative or positive. So I guess all of the ones I'm mentioning right now have a hit or miss kind of quality to them, but that's what I like about them because they have that character. But yeah, Resala by Arabian Oud is just an outstanding fragrance. If you did 3 sprays of this, you'd probably be smelling like Rasala for a week. Spray this on your clothes you probably won't be able to get it off on the first, even second wash. It'll still be there. So give this one a shot. And I do have a sample of Calamat Black that I have to try. I sprayed it on like a test strip and it was more of a oud vanilla, but I need to test it on my skin. That's how I prefer to test my fragrances. And the last one I'm going to mention to you is Sweetie Oud by Roja Parfums. Man, I wish that this one smelled more like a sweet, like pastry, like bakery, like the bakery vibe that a lot of people get. But on my skin, it's a heavy oud fragrance, and I still have quite an aversion to oud. It still puts me off a little bit. But when I sprayed this in the air, I get the sweetness and I get the whole like croissant, buttery, crispy, flaky, you know, pastry vibe. But I don't get that on my skin, you know, so I get the whole skin chemistry thing, right? That's why you got to test things out for yourself. But this is still a lovely fragrance. This is one of those scents that if you smell this on somebody walking by you, it makes your head turn, similar to all of the ones that I mentioned, but it just makes people like, it's like a heavenly kind of smell. Like it's delicious. It's a gourmand fragrance, you know? So typically whenever, if you've seen people, or even you might be this person, when you walk into a bakery and they're making like fresh bread or fresh pastries, you take like a deep breath in, like a deep whiff into your nostrils, and you're like, oh, this smells so good. You know what I mean? And you love that. At least for me, that's what I do when I'm in a bakery. I'm like, man, it smells so good in here. And that is what this fragrance does. It just makes people happy, and it's just a comforting scent. You're like, oh man, that smells like delicious pastries that I want to eat right now. Like this thing made me salivate the first time I smelt it in the air. So gosh, I wish it smelled more like that on my skin. But anyways, like I mentioned, this thing, or I didn't mention this yet, but it lasts around, I got like over 8 hours with this fragrance, but the oud really carries out. So I'm going to say even 10 hours you can pull off with this fragrance. But spray it on your clothes, it'll last even longer. And I really do enjoy this one. You know, I wish, God, I just wish I had the same, that I got the sweetness like everybody else did. But yeah, so those are 3 fragrances right there that are considered like hit or miss, because they're polarizing enough to make people have very strong opinions on them. You know what I mean? So let me know if you've tried these, or what your go-to fragrance is when you're trying to stand out, when you're trying to separate yourself from the crowd and you don't care about what people think. You're like, you know what, I'm bold enough to rock this tonight, so I'm gonna rock it tonight. I was gonna throw in Alexandria II because it is, but I just wanted to stick to 3 right now, and maybe I'll do another video with like 5 to 10 of them. So anyways, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an amazing Sunday. I'll see you later. Bye.